Opening.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, Financial Fitness Friday, I got me and Dave, like we always do. I appreciate Dave coming on. Dave is from Trifecta. He is our one of our partners for credit repair. Does a great job. And we're going to try to bring you this every Friday. We've been doing it on the Trifecta live stream, and I wanted to do it on my own right before the holidays. So, Dave, how's it going, brother?
It's going great, brother. How are you, man? How's everything? Hey, early Merry Christmas to you, my man, to you and your family.
Likewise, and Merry Christmas to everybody that we know. You know, it's pretty exciting. It's a great time of year, and it's also a time of year where you can kind of separate yourself and get ahead. Right, a lot of people are kind of shutting down the week before Christmas, and then definitely the week in between, let's say Christmas and New Year's, right? Everyone calls it something else, but Ed calls it separation season. And I truly believe in it. Like, we're here, we're coming to you live. Obviously, I'm in my office. Dave works from home, right, Dave?
No, we have an office. I'm just home today. We're right next to a major shopping center, and yeah, that traffic's not so friendly.
Oh yeah, that's got to be miserable today. So basically, what I want to tell you and what I want to go through is kind of like financial editing. All right. And this is going to be super important. It'll be important for business owners and the average everyday person. Okay. And you guys should do this in every single person should do this year. Okay. You want to basically set up and build a system where you can track and analyze all your expenses. Okay. And then money in, money out. Almost like, I don't want to say a personal financial statement, because a personal financial statement, for those of you that don't know, is kind of like your life's balance sheet. It shows you all the assets you own on one side, and then all the liabilities and debts that you own on another. Okay, now that should always be updated, especially when you're starting to do big investment deals. Okay, however, all that's going to show is your net worth, and that's always important. I would tell you it's very important to go and update that at least on a quarterly basis. Okay, and what's cool is you could type in personal financial statement, and you could pull up a fillable doc, or you could have it on an Excel sheet, and you literally can track it. Every time you go through all your bills, track it. And it'll actually show you how much wealth you're building, where you are. The next thing I would tell you, and this is more important, okay, because this gets into the granular side of things. And in the granular side of things, you want to see what you're actually spending money on, both from a business standpoint and a personal standpoint. So I would tell you to, if you can do the full year, great. If not, at least try to do a quarterly where you review all your expenses. So from a personal standpoint, what are you going to see? Well, I don't do fast food, so it's not a big thing for me, but I've seen it because I see everyone's bank accounts. I'm sorry, I do. That's what I do, right? I see how much you guys are spending on certain things. Okay.
Fast food deal?
What?
Fast food that big of a deal?
Bro, fast food, Starbucks, I see it all. Dude, you would be shocked.
Take that for granted.
And these are not like, I'm not talking about people that are applying for $5,000. Like, I'm talking about like people that are very, very successful. Okay, there's better ways. So you guys, first off, track that stuff. Okay. On the personal side, you'll see subscriptions that you don't use anymore. Okay. Memberships that you didn't even know you were still paying. All right. The trick is you want to review your banks, and then you want to review your cards. All right. Same thing with business, because the idea is you want to pick up things that you don't need any longer, or if you see certain spending habits that don't serve you, this is a great time to get in the habit of reviewing those and eliminating some of those. As a business owner, this is also a good time to shop around and see where you can pick up some savings. So common thing that we see, people that shop their insurance usually wind up in much better packages overall. People that look to pick up differences in payment processing usually save a ton of money. I'll give you an example. Just had somebody came in for a line of credit. And as I was going through, I said, "Do you mind if I review everything for you? See if there's other things that we could add value." He goes, "Absolutely." We picked them up $20,000 a year,
Nice.
switching and changing a couple of things over. All right, and this matters because imagine if you did this not just with one item, with everything. Okay, not just with your business, but with your life. All right, life comes at you fast. Business comes at you fast. There are always ways to optimize it, and you have to. The biggest thing I can tell you is get in the habit of doing it on a monthly basis and a quarterly basis, and you will see massive, massive, massive results. Dave, what do you got?
Well, I mean, Jonathan's talking about, the money side in and out, but one of the big parts on that, and something that we're seeing a lot with people in business, some of your clients as well coming through, guys, check your credit. Check your credit. It's amazing how how many people still to this day, with all the technology and different resources that we have, still don't know their credit score, still don't know what they owe out, their percentage of utilization. We had somebody the other day that they had 2 old collections for pennies on the dollar. We're talking $100 total, right? Simple to take care of, that they weren't even aware about because they don't check your credit. And that's on the personal side too, but do the same thing for your business. You know what I mean? Like those are important things. If you're trying to leverage money, the ins and outs are just one part about it, but you still need good credit. If you're going to Jonathan and you're getting a loan, hey, and if that credit's not there, yeah, you might have all the other financial stuff and all that good stuff in order, but that credit score at the end of the day, that could be a problem too. And people always overlook that for
Bro,
whatever.
can I hop in real quick?
Yeah,
Can I hop in real quick to give
Absolutely.
you, because what you just said is so valuable.
Mhm.
I hate saying this, okay? Nothing hurts me more than when I see someone has an amazing business that should qualify for like a top program like an SBA loan,
Yep.
and they're points off. In the last 2 weeks, I've had about 7 people. I do a lot of obviously SBA loans.
Mhm.
In the last 2 weeks, I've had 7 people that when the cutoff is 700, they were in the 690s or 680s. Okay, that is disastrous.
It's even on top of that when you're seeing that, it's probably just paying down a little bit of debt. That's really
That's literally all that is. I know. It's hey, these cards got like 45% utilization.
Yep.
Instead, if they just paid everything down before they filled out the app, or on the statement date, they're solid.
Yeah.
Can you actually? I know this wasn't what we were talking about. Can you give everybody a little bit of advice? Statement date versus due date, and how to kind of work the system.
Yeah, statement date is obviously when that stuff closes out within that time before it's reported to the credit bureau. So then that due date. So technically, if you look at a credit report, it almost looks like you're a month behind. So if you're, what are we, December 23rd today? So if you're looking at a credit report today, right, it's going to show a lot of November stuff. Maybe you might get lucky and some things will report back. But sometimes the idea is if you're going to pay off before that credit card closes, now it's different how you use it. If you use it sparingly and you don't use it before that close date, sure, pay it off. But if you're somebody like me, I just keep rolling it all the time, pay it off in full as soon as it closes. Don't a lot of people wait until that statement date. You're rolling that out another month. So now if you have a $6,000 balance, right, and you don't pay it off until that grace period, usually 21 days later, and you're rolling again, say another 3 to 4,000 on top of it, now you have 12,000 showing of debt instead of that current time where you would have 3 instead of paying off the 6. So that's a big deal that people make mistakes. If we're coming in, I tell people all the time, look, if you're closing a deal for financing, get it under 10% if possible, because sometimes it's good to have a little balance. It depends where your score is. It will give you a little boost. But realistically, if you want to be comfortable, pay that down as much as possible and don't use it for a month and get something realistic that's showing on there of what your credit score is. People make that mistake all the time. The 2 biggest things in credit that people don't realize, they think that, okay, well, I have a $10,000 max limit card, right? I'm going to use 10 grand a month. I know I can afford it. I'm going to pay it off in full. Maybe I'll wait a week or 2 to pay that 10 grand off. But now you're maxing that out. Okay. That percentage of utilization is 30% of your score. And what are you doing when you get to 100%? Don't be surprised if you tank yourself 100, 150, pushing 200 points just from rocking like that because you want to use it. right? And then the other biggest side is your payment history, your on-time payments, 35%. Guys, those two things, okay? That's 2/3 of your credit score right there. And it's all the time. You see it all the time. It's just a little tweak, like you said, paying a couple $100 to get it down. You're 10 points away from closing a deal.
So let's go into best practices, right? Someone gets their statement, or they look online, they see where their statement is.
Mhm.
I think it would be pretty wise to figure out when their statement date is.
Yep.
Okay, mark that, and then make sure you pay it on that date.
Yep, right away.
As opposed to the due date, because then what you're doing is you're playing the system, right? And you're saving yourself interest. Because if you pay, let's say your credit card balance, you have a $50,000 credit card, right? And right now you have 20,000, okay, on it. If you have 20,000 on it, you're basically at 40% utilization. Now, out of that $20,000 that is the balance, on the statement date, they're going to tell you the statement balance. Basically, that's what you're going to get charged interest on. So if that is 10,000 and you pay that all off, guess what? You're not paying interest on that. And then you can knock out the other 10,000 in 30 days, interest free. Right? This is the stuff they don't teach you in school, guys. This is why we do this.
Interest free, and that point differential max is about 165 points.
Wow.
Yep. And people do that too. So they think from 0 to 850. Technically, the lowest credit score there is 300. So it's 300 to 850. So that's where your credit window is. So now it makes that window, that 30%, even smaller.
Do you know what the credit score represents? And then we'll leave off.
It just, everybody.
I actually know.
I know you know, but my thing to people, and I tell this to clients jokingly all the time, you know what a credit score represents? It either makes you feel really good or makes you feel like shit.
Yeah, but you know what it actually represents?
It's supposed to represent how responsible you are in order to pay back a loan.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Yes. What do you got? No, I'm going to learn something now. Here we
Dude,
go.
I've been working with credit 15 years.
I know you have.
I learned this 18 months ago. The credit score, if you drop a 0, so you have 300 to 850, right? Mm-hmm. If you drop to 0, that's a percentage. That's how likely it is that they will pay back on time.
Wow.
Because nothing can ever be 100% because someone could pass or die.
That is true.
So that is legitimately what your credit score represents. So if you're at 700, you're set 70% likely to pay everything on time to completion.
That's interesting. Makes total sense.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, man.
Well, hey, I appreciate you doing this. I kind of like doing it on my setup. I will share this with everybody. Guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Financial Fitness Friday. Dave, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. And hey, maybe me and Dave start doing Mindset Monday.
Uh-oh.
Hey, I'm down. I'm down.
Might get a little crazy.
Get a little nutty.
Merry Christmas to you all. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate everybody.
Thank you, buddy.